Welcome to Mysterious Encounters. He wasn't just a rapper. He was an architect. Ermias Nipsey Hussle Asghedom was drafting a blueprint for economic and spiritual freedom. Brick by brick, on the very streets that raised him. His death was not a random act of street violence. It was the assassination of a future in progress. This case file asks, what was he really building? And whose interests did that future threaten? Nipsey's masterstroke was the marathon clothing. It was a flagship but also a headquarters. He bought the strip mall, he hired from the neighborhood, he opened a co-working space and a STEM lab. This was ownership in its most revolutionary sense, not just owning a business, but owning the land, controlling the ecosystem. He was creating a closed-loop economy, wealth generated in Crenshaw, reinvested in Crenshaw. He was hacking the very system of disinvestment that had plagued his community for decades. He was moving from the street economy to the asset economy. And that shift changes everything. His identity was complex, a former Rollin 60s Crip, but he evolved into something the media had no simple label for, a community CEO. He spoke the language of blockchain, cryptocurrency, and equity while never abandoning the language of the streets. This duality was his power and his peril. He was building bridges between worlds that were designed not to meet. To the outside, he was a success story, but within the complex social fabric of South Central, was he seen as a unifier or a threat to established fragile orders? The location is key. He was killed in the parking lot of his own store, in the heart of his life's work. Crenshaw is ground zero for Los Angeles' gentrification battle. The new metro line promises connectivity, but also displacement. Nipsey was a proponent of community-led development, ensuring the people who built the culture benefited from the influx. This is a direct challenge to outside speculators and to internal old guard powers who profit from chaos. His vision required stability and collective growth. Does a rising tide lift all boats, or does it drown those without one? The triggerman, Eric Holder, was found guilty. A personal dispute was the stated motive. Case closed. But in the context of a man altering the destiny of a neighborhood, a simple personal dispute feels like the first layer of a much deeper code. Were there other tensions, other pressures, left unexamined? When you start to change the flow of money and power, you create new enemies and unsettle old alliances. The official record gives us a who. The rabbit hole demands we ask, what environment, what set of conditions made this violence the possible outcome?